insightful thought. I mean, I like how he um, divided the brain into two things, and he used the scientific facts. It's very true, and it's very interesting to learn more about insights from CEOs and how they feel. um, I can definitely relate to it, and I can definitely see a lot of people going into that direction and forgetting who they truly are. I do speak a lot about finding the true self and finding the true passion, because I myself went through that journey, and I struggled with it being a girl from the Middle East, because you have a lot of external factors that affect that too. And I think it's really beautiful the way he explained how you can actually use that sage and use those superpowers in you to bring that true self of yourself.
Lovely, thank you.
So just for you to know, the live stream has restarted, so it should be fine. So for those who were on the previous link, you need to switch to the new one. Indeed, hopefully you'll be able to get, it's on the same channel anyway. Okay, and Sujay, do you want to add some things? But anyway, I'll switch to your presentation in a minute. But if you want to add before on.
You can switch to my presentation, Stephen, and it is part of what previously discussed, going to be inside in my presentation as well. Therefore, I'll collaborate both together.
Great. So now that we've heard about the challenges, our personal challenges, but also solution and a sage way forward, let's get to our two guest speakers. First, just want to mention that for the participants which are on YouTube, don't hesitate to ask questions. You can comment, but also ask questions on the YouTube. We're monitoring that. It's on the renewed channel. So it's the same channel, but the renewed link. Don't hesitate to add your feedback and questions, and we'll try to answer it during the event in the next few minutes. So let's start with you, Suji, Dr. Suji Subawikrama, if I pronounce it correctly. I didn't mention it, but you're from Sri Lanka, this really nice place, beautiful place. But you're now a licensed psychotherapist in New York and in New Jersey, and specifically working on as a certified substance abuse clinician as well. So this is great. I mentioned that you were a Six Sigma Black Belt, and that's also an impressive thing. And you were having your membership to the American sorry, I just messed the presentation, but the American Psychological Association on top of the American Counseling Association, which you are in. So I just reorganized correctly my thoughts. But your passion is definitely to help individuals recovering from whatever trauma they were facing, whether it's from events like hurricane, tsunami, and also wars, but also from their personal things, or recurring substance use, or maladaptive coping skills and stuff like that. So I'll let you speak about this. You'll definitely know that much better than me, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this TEDx event.
Thank you so much, Stephen, and it's a great opportunity, and I really appreciate you and Ayse and giving this opportunity. And it's a long laundry list, but practically, I'm just Sugi. And as you said, I'm coming from beautiful country, Sri Lanka, far away. And my real name is Sugandhika, and American version is Sugi. And in my case, it's leadership and life journey. And all these things goes hand in hand. Once Michelle Obama said something, it touches my heart. Your story is what you have. That is something to own it. I always own my story. That is what I have. What I do with that story is totally different. I want to empower people, encourage people. There are multiple challenges, struggles you face going through this life circle. You want to give up? It's in your hand. You make the decision. Nobody else can make that decision. And it's today, and in the beginning, Stephen said, right, I hope I'm not killing your name. And there's a history. We all having a history, right? And I want to share my story little bit. And I want to say, and previously Dr. Shiraz Kamen, he said like uniqueness, difference, that makes you unique in this world. We all coming from different cultures, different backgrounds, different roots. Maybe you talk different language. Now we all talk in English because we want to communicate. It's a communication method. At that time, how many things, for a minute, close your eyes and memorize how many challenges. And as he said previously, how many sabotages you went through. I have a lot, but I overcame. That's very special in my life. And here, for example, my mother is from an ethnic group in Sri Lanka. She represents the majority, and my father from a minority. You know how it works, right? And then we are going to be the kids belongs to nowhere. They are like, okay, your dad is like that, your mom is that. But they build up a beautiful life. You want to know how this life is challenging you? When I was 3.5 years old, and my brother is 1.5 years old, my father died. And then what happened? My mom is in 30-some years old, and she built up her life and love. She doesn't want to get married again. She was in her 30s. What you can imagine our life for a moment. Poverty is a key element in our lives. And then you may be not familiar. We did not have even lights. I don't want to be emotional, but my whole body is getting to that mindset where we went through. And then you can see my skin color. And most of the people said, ugly black girl. I see within myself, I'm a beautiful woman. And then we have a 25 years of war, secondary war impact. And then again, tsunami impact, secondary. Now, what do you think? I should be in somewhere in a mental health institute or should be go crazy, right? Now, you see me proudly standing in front of you to tell my story. There's something behind me. Just listen. Then in my 20s, I married to a really great man, and I moved to United States. He's a very, very supportive engineer and very successful man. As we all do, when we migrate to United States, you have to go through your life circle again. I have my psychology special degree, but you know, we have to study again and do things. I'm that woman, never give up. You want to know how many jobs I did? I did 3 jobs because I don't want to have loans. I am doing the 3 jobs, Saturday 2 full day, and Sunday 2 shift full day, and Monday. I'm a full-time worker, full-time student. And I completed my journey. What is behind this, all these things? Yes, you're all thinking, yes, Sugi, we heard it. The most important thing, a few minutes ago, Ayse said, my mom, she taught me something. How challenging your life. Never, never, ever give up. I did multiple things in my school age. I was a really great runner. I had multiple achievements. And I am most of the times first in the school. My doctorate degree, even though my second language is English, I have 4.0 GPA. How I did it? Because it's your mind. It's your mindset. I had a growth mindset. I always thinking, sure, when I'm running, people saying this to me, no, make my mind. I have a goal. Therefore, sometimes people think in their life, no, I want to give up. I want to tell you, when you feel you want to give up, think for a moment, what are the blessings around you? I always thought about my mom. She's my rock star, and she sacrificed many things for me. And I always thought I have a responsibility, not only for me, for my life. We have only one life, right? And when it comes to language also, people think like, oh my God, your accent, what did you say? What did you say? Sometimes I have to repeat myself 10 times for one word. What do you want to know about me? I was feeling sometimes internally, my heart pulse goes boom, boom. What is this? Can I communicate? Next time, I listen to maybe the Google voice. How to pronounce that word? I do not give up. That's the only thing. That's maybe my resilient factor. Use your support system. Everybody in this world going to love you? Hell no, that's the truth. Even after we publish this video, how many comments you're going to get it? Are you going to sick of those negative? No, use that negative as your positivity. How to turn around? I always wants to be part of the table. If you don't give me a seat in the table, I create my own table. That's how I work in my life. And I'll give you one example. And one time I was working in one of the hospital. And then at that time, we were thinking like all the people, your patients going to love you, right? And I have to, there are a certain number of people we have to admit for the detox unit. And at that time, what we have to do, like we have certain amount of time to write. And at that day, we fill the beds. We cannot. I was at that time acting manager. And this individual come to me multiple times telling me, hey, I have to admit. I was like, sir, we don't have any beds, right? You know my tone and where I am coming from, my culture. Maybe I am too kind. And then he was telling, use all the profanity and said, go back to your country. I was like, yes. Now there's a moment, there are lots of people in front of me, right? You can make a decision. I have multiple choices. Maybe raise my voice, do certain things, right? I was like, nope. My hands went very, very cold, but I was having a smile and I said, yes, sir, I love to go back to my country in the summer, but tickets are $1,000, not maybe this summer, next one. What I used this one coping mechanism that was like the smiling, like a joke. Sometimes life is like that. You cannot, like at that time, I felt, oh my God, what I'm going to say, right? My hands getting cold, as I said, multiple things. Same way, when people laughing at me for my skin color, I went through. When people laughing at my accent, I went through. But did I all these take it to a negative way? No. Yes, I cried. Yes, multiple times I cried. I came home, I repeat myself. Therefore, I'm saying, Stephen, Ayse, and Tima, we all have a story to tell to you, but we use different coping mechanisms. Find you within yourself. Maybe it's not what is good for you, what is not good for me, maybe. Because when I'm working with people who faced in 30 years of war, some people just lose their voice and their eyesight and their legs. And then tsunami, they lost everything, you name it. In a heartbeat, in a minute, I worked with the kids. And when I migrated to United States, Sandy came. I saw the same thing. We all human beings. Think, experience the people beyond this skin color, beyond this person. Put some effort, like understanding who they are. Maybe you have to listen to beautiful story within them. And today, what my motto is, like, The leaders don't create followers. Leaders create leaders. I want all the other people behind me thinking, no, 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 I don't have a future. No, you have a future. It's within you what make the decision. And everybody laughing at me. I always saying, hope for the best and I will hope for the rest, right? Because we never know what will bring in next minute. And let you down all these things in your life. Therefore, what I can say in my personal experience and knowledge, it's you, who you are, make you. Do not change because what others say. Identify empowering factor within you, uniqueness within you, enhance it, identify coping mechanisms. Therefore, I wish you everybody and listening to my story and get little some kind of a motivation, encouragement to face tomorrow. That's my only wish. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Ayse, and good luck to Tima for your speech as well. Thank you.
Thanks very
Thank
much,
you.
Suji. Great and inspirational speech. I would have maybe one question, and if others want to add question after that, we'll go to Tima. But if you had to say one or two things that gave you the courage, or that were triggering, that were the trigger of getting you out of your I don't know how to say that. We could say that your comfort zone, your country, your family, your relatives. What triggered the fact that you get to go to North America? That was quite a challenge. Just after what your country faced, and what was. But anyway, you described it really well. But if you think of one or two items that were the big triggers on this, what would it be?
Thank you so much. It's a great question. Stephen, the most important thing in my life is when it comes to poverty, there's no two solutions, right? What you have, either you have the money or you don't have, right? I have the option. I have my brother, I have my mother who sacrificed a lot, right? I have my own option to accelerate myself or not, right? And then when I decided to get married and when I find a man and everything, I was thinking, it's not coming to America. Wherever I am, even if I was in Sri Lanka, I do the exact same thing. I want to improve in myself. Improve means personally and professionally. You want to know, some people in my school, sometimes I have a great principal, right? I went to a private school in my country. You have to pay for the school. What I did, when you get scholarship, you don't have to pay, right? I always getting the scholarship, right? Because I have my own goal. When I come home, I was never think about the food or anything. I was just studying. Sometimes my mom can't understand what I'm saying. I go behind her and saying all the words, what I learned, because I want to be myself and take my family to the next level. Therefore, what is the triggering factor? Sometimes the triggering factor is there's no option in front of you. Either you survive, you give up. I decided to survive myself. Here, when I came to United States too, I can do a small job and stay there and survive, right? I did not. As I said, I did 3 jobs, 4 jobs. My husband is taking care of the family. You have option. Either you take it the challenge or you give up the challenge. I always take it into my hand. Even coming to TED platform, it was a real deal, right? You have to approach to people, asking the opportunity. Did I give up? No. You are one of the people gave the opportunity for another leader to shine in their life, right? Therefore, triggering factor coming here and there throughout your life, you make the decision what you want to do and keep on doing in the one path you want to do rather than going every single place what is social media says, what is your family says, what is your peer pressure. No, I had within me what I want in my life. I was just pursuing. I do not know due to COVID and everything what brings tomorrow, knock wood, nothing going to happen. Otherwise, I will empower people into the next direction, what they want in their lives as much as I can. I hope I answer your question, Steve.
A great answer. I definitely, you've not chosen the easy pathway forward, that's for sure, but the one that allowed you to be fully yourself. That's great. And maybe, I don't know if Ayse, or you have a question. If no, I have another one. So just go ahead if you have one. If not, I have something to ask as well still. Go ahead, Ayse, if you have something.
Okay, that was great insights, and thank you. It was very inspiring. So my question is actually asking you, what is your passion? What is your end goal? I will ask that. If you would like to share, of course.
Sure. Thank you. I want people who don't have a voice, right? And there are multiple people in different fields. And for example, in culture, when you take the culture, we have my culture, different things, right? We always listen to the leaders, right? Even like looking at the leaders, like in their eyes is like kind of not accepted in my culture. Therefore, what I want to do and empower them, right? People who don't have a voice within themselves. For example, what I did was in my country, right? We don't much talk about the mental health, but there are multiple issues within them. For example, as soon as they get married, in my culture, when you're going to have the baby, when you're going to have the baby, when you have the first baby, when you're going to have the second baby. Nowadays, women and their dreams changing. People wants to go to school, people wants to go to have their travel, like Tima going to tell us more about traveling and all these things they want to have before they have a baby. Do our cultural people going to understand how much you pressure putting into these women's lives? Maybe no, right? And therefore, what I started 2 years ago, and I created my own channel in YouTube, it was in my country language, right? I do as much as videos about cultural dilemma and all the mental health issues within them, and allow them to have a discussion, right? Therefore, as you ask me the question, what is my ultimate goal? I'm not sure specifically. I really love my field. It's in my DNA, this mental health. But at the same time, now I'm in the leadership roles. Any field, when I identify the gap, I just don't want to let it go. I cannot maybe find the solution, but I want to initiate the discussion. People who have the power to have that solution within themselves. Therefore, those are the little steps in my power. I don't know, I'm saying the power word, it's a big word, in my ability to have at least the discussion. I'm participating in this discussion to empower leaders. Maybe there are multiple Asian people who want to be leaders. Maybe there are multiple leaders. At the same time, they think we don't have opportunity. No, you have the opportunity within your hands. Therefore, that's what my goals changing. I see, therefore, down the line, if you see me talking something different in the platform, forgive me. Right now, this is my vision and goal for my life. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Great answer, indeed. My second question, I will also ask it to you, Tima, at the end of your presentation. You notably, both of you didn't took the easy pathway forward in different setting, indeed. But both of you the two of you have decided to inspire others as well, and to advocate for to help others, and to and Suji, and as I said, Tima, you can think of it. I'll ask it at the end on your side. But Suji, what inspired you to decide to advocate for I would say the best practices? You've talked about leaders create leaders. You're talking about it's within you. You're helping others which are struggling. It's not only developing yourself, it's also helping others. So that's what inspired you doing that.
Yeah, that's an awesome question, right? What happened was, I see sometimes we talk. What is the reality and practicality? I see lots of people. For example, right now I want to write my book, my story, right? I reach out to multiple people, and some people does not want to help others. I see that challenge. And there are multiple opportunities in multiple scenarios. It's so sad to see lots of people don't want to share their helping hand when they climb that level they want to go. I had one of the individual in my past job, and she was really, really great leader. I per se label. Some people I call them, though they are leaders, they are managers, they manage it, right? But leaders have different qualities. They help other people to achieve their dreams. I see these are the people's are leaders, right? Look at my eyes. You see motivating individual who killing to go somewhere, right? If when I talk to some of the leaders, they were just either just ignored, just maybe gave some kind of a look like, okay, you're going to go there. Even my country, even multiple places I traveled, I studied. And one of the leader, as I said, motivate me. And she said something very beautiful. She said, Sugi, if we are not helping each other, who will? Right? And it is many, many years back that touches my heart. When I was struggling, I know my pain. Do I want to give that the same pain for somebody else? No. If somebody is coming to Sri Lanka or some other Asian country or any other country to United States, they ask like, can you help me? I really want to go back to school. Mm-hmm. I have two answers. Oh, I'm not sure. Go to the website and check it. Like, you know, or I can say, hey, listen, some places have scholarships, you know, minority scholarship, like find something like that. Oh, this is what I did it. You want to give me a call when I have few minutes? I can share my story. I select the second option purposely because I know that pain when I'm struggling. All these searchers, go to that website, they will help you. Right? Yes, some people maybe not, that's not the biggest help you can do. The biggest help, you spend few minutes with the other person. Maybe when they go to the next level, they are not going to remember you. That's perfectly fine. You do what you can do, bottom of your heart. Therefore, knowing the pain, not giving that same pain to others, that is the grassroots level and the thought pattern within me, why I want to help not only other women, all the other human beings who are searching their lives in this bigger global world. Makes sense, Steve, what I said?
Greatly said. Great last words, by the way. Thanks very much, Sugi. So this is a good introduction for, and at the same time for our next speaker, Tima Deryan. You're the first Lebanese woman and also the first young Arab at 26-year-olds, if I understand, that climbed Mount Everest. That's impressive in itself, but you're also a mindset coach. You're also a social entrepreneur. You're also a community mobilizer. And you show a lot of determination, courage, and resilience, like Saji just explained in her own life. So you had different ways and pathways, but you did it with this strength, similar strength. That's impressive. And Tima, you quit your corporate career to give back to others. In fact, after having climbed and becoming a well-known mountain climber, you quit a financial job, and now you're giving back to the world. You're helping, or you're in organizations that are helping children, youth, women, and that's also an important, definitely impressive thing as well. And you also advocate for climate change, working on social justice, sustainability, etc. So I want to let you the floor now to give us all the insights you can. This is great to have you here with us today as well. Thanks, Tima.
Thank you very much for the great introduction, and I'm very, very happy to be part of this. And it's a pleasure to be part of a TED Talk. And Suchi, I think you gave an amazing talk. I loved it. It was very empowering for someone like me, and I'm sure a lot of other people would be empowered just listening to you. It's a very powerful message. So I'm going to be sharing with you my slides today. So I'm going to be talking about take the lead of the life you want. If you do not pursue your finance career, then you're going to fail. If you go and climb Mount Everest, you're going to die. If you're going to continue talking about feminism, you're going to be alone. And if you choose coaching and adventure over a financial or a corporate job, then you are a loser. These are a few words I've heard from my father, from few friends, and from society. And sadly, it did get to me. I used to live a life where what in the eyes of society called the norm, the standard. I had to be successful and I had to confirm. And I did confirm because I wanted my father to be proud. I wanted to make my friends proud, and I wanted everybody to be proud of me. So I was living up to their standards, and I checked the box of a successful woman in their eye. I graduated with a finance degree, and I started my job 2 weeks after graduation. My father was very, very proud. I then started climbing the career ladder, and I started looking into how to start a family and have what the society call a normal life and a successful one. And then I had so many questions, and I always thought there's something wrong. I was not happy inside. I knew this wouldn't be the life. This is not what it is. This is just what people dictated. But I was just confirming until I kept on looking for my answers. While looking for my answers, it was a tough journey, and I was trying to build my values and beliefs for me to be ready to say, this is what I want. I was in search for what I want, but I couldn't find it. One day, during my job, we had a company event, which I attended, and there was a motivational speaker. The motivational speaker was there talking about how he climbed Mount Everest and his journey on Mount Everest. And suddenly, across everybody in the audience, I was just I was just completely blown up. And I was thinking, this was my dream. I had a very nostalgic memory, and it was very, very strong. I was really remembering how I traveled when I was 14 years old with my family to Nepal, and we were exploring Nepal, and we flew over Everest. And while in the plane, the captain of the plane says, now we are above Mount Everest, and it is the highest mountain in the world. Some people climb it, but not many. There is less than, back then, 8,000 people who have climbed that mountain. And then I came off that plane and I received a certificate that says I have flew over Everest, but I did not climb it. So I looked at my parents and I looked at my brothers and I said, one day I'm going to come and climb Everest. And they, of course, laughed and they told me, okay, we'll see about that. When I remembered that moment, everything in my world changed. This is where I felt that, okay, this is it. This is what I want. I want to go climb Mount Everest. It was a dream. Now it's time to transform that dream into a goal. I was there. I was 22 years old and I was still learning all about the corporate world. And I said, okay, I'm going to start climbing and I'm going to go do my research. So I knew I had to change how I live if I want to climb Mount Everest, because right now I'm not doing something that confirms to society. I'm not doing something that would make maybe my parents proud, because climbing is just a hobby. It's not something that we should take it seriously, and it's not going to get me anywhere. I either pursue my career in finance or I'm a loser. So I was in dilemma. So I went and I told everybody that I'm planning to climb Mount Everest. And things changed. It wasn't easy to convince people around me that a girl from the Middle East is willing to go and climb a mountain. In that moment, I knew that I was not living the life that I wanted to lead, and there was a lot of resistance. I had to make changes, and I decided to make that change. And I decided to set my values and set my beliefs and start building them. But I was maneuvering because I was still building it, and it was more of a transition. It wasn't just straight away, this is what I'm doing and this is what I want. And this is when I started also building up and learning about the rules on how I can lead the life that I really, really want. But before I start sharing with you the 3 rules on how to lead the life that you want, I'd like to highlight a statistic that was recently issued by the World Bank. Nearly 2.4 billion women globally do not have the same right as men. This statistic is extremely striking, and I'm sure, as you can see, there's protests around the world that highlights things like honor killing, violence against women, because we women in general struggle more than everybody in the world to lead our lives. We have governments trying to impose laws on how to deal with our rights. We have our families dictating what we can and we cannot do. And if we're talking more about the Middle East, it gets more difficult. We are more limited. We have set of rules and values that we need to follow. And if we don't, sometimes it ends up in killing in very, very close families. So it's very hard to think twice about being liberated or about making that move and taking the lead of your life. You always have to make those decisions that is in line with the culture and the family and so many externalities. And sometimes you end up losing yourself. And there are so many women who have already lost themselves, lost purpose, and they have no idea of their potential and their power because it was always untapped and tamed. And this is why I really appreciate and I always advocate on movements such as feminism, where it comes in and it helps women to break barriers and it carves the way and it helps us, it removes the resistance from the society and allow women to start thinking about being liberated, about taking actions and taking lead and ownership of their lives. And this is why women's right is human's right. So I will start with the first rule that I really believe in, which is communicate your values and set the boundaries. As I said, I was transitioning from the girl who was conforming to the girl who wants to be liberated and live life by her rules and what she believes in. But I saw a lot of resistance. So I had to communicate my values. I had to set the boundaries, and it was very, very difficult. So my father was a man who I looked up to and I received all my validation from. And one day after climbing Everest, I came up to him and I said, Father, I decided to quit my job and I'm going to bring in my business skills and I'm going to bring in my passion and I want to start a new business called the Mountain Gypsy Dream. He looked at me and he said, take your stuff and get out of my office right now. I was confused. I thought he would be proud of me. I just came up with a great idea. And then I said, I'm sorry if I offended you. Let me repeat what I said. And I tried to rephrase it. And while I was rephrasing what I said, he cut me off and he said, did you not hear what I said the first time? Take your stuff and get out now from my office. I never want to see your face again. I was shattered. I was confused. And the person that I loved the most just gave me all the doubts in the world that I should not do what I'm doing. And there was a huge conflict in me. Should I confirm or should I just follow my dream? Should I at least try? I just wanted to try. And then will I be a loser? Is it true? I was very, very confused and I was very sad. So I decided to let him be because it was his fears and I decided to start my dream. I went on and I got my first workshop and it was very fun and nice. And it was a workshop for youth. And I started sharing with them what the mountains have shared with me. And this is how Mountain Gypsy started growing. I started delivering workshops. I started delivering motivational talks. I did a lot of girls empowerment initiatives. And I took 8 young girls to the summit of Kilimanjaro. And to me, I was finding purpose in what I truly love and combining my skills and my passion to really bring value to the world. And right now I will be publishing very soon a children's book about the girl who climbed Everest and who broke barriers. I would have never thought that I could have done that in that moment when he asked me to leave. And today I'm very proud that I took that decision and moved. So when I communicated my values and my boundaries, it was a very tough situation. And this is why you need to remember two things. One, you can be different and not everyone will accept you. And sometimes, especially the ones who loves you the most or you love the most. And two, do not conform to standards, carve your own path. We all fall into this trap. And I really try to work with a lot of youth for them not to fall in the trap, and also women. Do not conform and just go by the standard just because it's there. We do all have the power to do change, and we do have the power to carve our own path and our own way. The second one is trust the process and yourself. And this is something I try to practice on a daily basis because it's one of the toughest things as a woman I can do. Trusting the process and ourselves is not something easy, but by practice, it starts building up. During the pandemic, a lot of things changed. My mountain gypsy business started deteriorating because there were no more outdoors and we had to quarantine. And I was thinking I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what would it be, but I kept on doing what I was doing online. And one day I realized that everybody was wearing masks and those masks had messages on them. And I said, I wish those messages would have something about women empowerment because I felt everybody was interested in everyone's masks. So I'm like, you know what? I will design something that says feminist and I want people to ask about it. During this time, I was working in Lebanon after the blast with an NGO to support children, youth, and women. And I was working with women who used to stitch and be empowered through their finances because they were stitching. So they learn how to stitch and they get projects. And I wanted to help them. So I decided to start that design and have a whole woman empowerment project where we can deliver something and start having allies and advocates talking about feminism and women's rights. I started my first mask, I wore it and it looked super cool. I was very happy with it. So I said, okay, it was about Christmas time. So I asked them I got some textile and I asked them to design more masks. I went to the Christmas market and then I sold it all. And I was very happy about it. So I said, I'm going to start more. I did tote bags. So I got textile, but this time things were different. I did the masks and I did the tote bags and I started receiving a lot of criticism because the stitching wasn't very well done. The word in Arabic was written wrong and a lot of things was not okay. So I was extremely frustrated. And I said, you know what, this is not for me. Why am I even doing this? I'm not a fashion designer. I'm a lot into sports and so far from fashion design. How am I designing this? And then I said, I'm not very good in Arabic and I'm not even getting the word right. So why am I doing this? This is not for me. So I think it's just something that I wanted to try and I should let go. And I don't want to do this again. And then an hour later, I said, okay, how can we fix this? Because obviously I'm not going to give up on my dream. Let's fix this. I took the stuff back. I went from the market and the next day I fixed it. When I went again for the third batch, there was a lot of other mistakes. And I was frustrated again and I lost money and I lost time and I'm frustrated with everybody around me because this is not for me. I am not a fashion designer. And this is where my imposter was kicking in so hard because I could not believe I can do something like this. And I started reminding myself, it's a process and it's all about learning. And there is nothing in this world I cannot do. If I set my mind into something, I will achieve it and I will do it. And this is exactly what happened. I launched my first collection in the beginning of this year, and it all sold out. And now my products are selling between Lebanon and the UAE and Geneva. I would have never thought that I can design something. I not only sell masks and tote bags, I sell shirts, kimonos, and so many other stuff. And I am the designer behind it. And that's something I never thought I could do. So 2 things to remember while trusting the process and yourself. It is okay to doubt yourself, but don't let this happen often. I doubted myself throughout the process because I thought I do not have the right skills to start something like that. But then I started discovering throughout the way and through consistency that I can learn things as we go. Today, my favorite thing to do is to go to the textile shop and choose textiles. Who would have thought? The second thing is create a set of affirmations and reminders. I've had reminders everywhere. My display picture on the screen, on my phone is focus. I have consistency written all around. I have all those words that reminds me of how good I am, of what I need to do, of that what I need to get up and do every day. And of course, self-affirmations for myself to continue believing in myself. And I keep on saying, if I climbed Everest, I'm sure I can climb this situation. The third, which is the hardest one, because sometimes we do not realize that we are falling into this trap, which is do not allow the fears of others instill in you. And if you read this again and again, you realize how strong that is, because we tend to allow others' fears instill in us without even knowing. And those fears can come from family, friends, and very, very close and loved ones. And it's not because they do not love us, it's because they're either worried about us, and it's literally their own fears. Just like my father, he could not accept who I am, so he asked me to leave. And it was more about his fears because he saw me failing at this. And a big example of this, of not allowing others to instill their fears in us, is basically when I decided to climb Mount Everest. The moment I said I am going to climb Mount Everest, everybody kept on saying how I will die. And dying was the headline of the situation. If you climb Mount Everest, you're going to end up dying. And I tried to reassure my mother, I'm not going to die. Everything's going to be okay. I did not allow anyone fears instilled in me. Everybody told me I would not do it. Everybody told me there's no way I can achieve all this mountaineering. But what I did instead was I climbed the 6 out of the 7 highest mountain on every continent. And so far, I've climbed more than 20 plus mountains. And now I live in a country where mountains are accessible and I can climb whenever I want. And literally, and right now I'm working on the project to go and ski the last degree of the South Pole and climb the last summit, which is the 7th summit, which is the highest mountain in Antarctica. And not only for climbing, I'm doing it to create a course where I can teach youth more about climate change and global warming, because in Antarctica, we can see how the ice sheet is melting. So with all that, I'm not an expert in so many things, but I'm learning things along the way, and I do not allow other fears to instill in me. A lot of people tell me, what are you doing? This is not your thing. And I don't believe we are made to do one thing. I believe we are all good at so many things, and it's all about how we set our focus and what we do within that current phase. So something to remember when you're not allowing others to instill their fears is identify your fears versus their fears. And when we identify our own fears, we start learning how to live with them. We make our fears more of like our friend. And now when I'm scared, I will put my fear next to me and I will speak to my fear. And I know why I'm scared. But when we allow other fears instead in us, it's hard to have that conversation because it's not even our fear. And 2, talk to yourself instead of listening to yourself. And I've used this a lot when I'm in dangerous situation, when I feel I'm failing, and then when I'm feeling things are not going my way. Our brain tends to go to the negative side directly when things are not going right, and we think things are just going to shut down and close. And if we allow ourselves to have those thoughts without stopping it, we will go down into a rabbit hole. So instead of allowing those thoughts come into your head, all you have to do is look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. You ask yourself to listen to yourself as if you're asking your friend to listen to you. And you tell yourself that everything is going to be okay if you do what you are supposed to do every morning. You wake up, you get up, you do what you have to do, and you continue on reminding yourself why you are doing this and why you've started this. So I took ownership of my life. I learned how to lead my life. And here I am today. I've been in space shows. I've graduated. I've worked with children. I've dived. I skydived. I scuba dived. I've done so many things because I took the lead of my life. And now I wonder, what will your life look like if you took the lead today? So are you ready to take the lead? Thank you.
Thanks very much. This is a a great way to complete your presentation. I have a question, and maybe others can jump in after that. You were talking about how to deal, or I would even say play with your feeling and fears essentially every day. When and comparing with others, fears and fears coming from others. But when you were, in fact, you did many times, so whether it's scuba diving or Mount Everest climbing, when you're alone with yourself, okay, and you're fighting against yourself at some point, what is giving you the courage to just stay and continue this climbing or this diving or whatever you're doing? That's, and you, in fact, I highlight it really well. So I would call that the fear inside and fears coming from others, but the insiders, I would say. How do you deal with that when it's lasting for some times? And you were talking about your entrepreneurship mind. It's the same thing we can relate to entrepreneurship at some point. But I think what triggered this this courage, for example, when you were climbing Mount Everest, or other examples you would like to share?
Growing up, I've always heard that I cannot do stuff, or I'm not allowed to do stuff. I was restricted. My freedom was always taken away from me, and I was always angry because when I asked, why can I not do that? I never received an answer. There was never an answer that I took as something that is inspiring or it makes sense. Nothing made sense. So when it came to like being courage and pushing boundaries, it came out of the anger that I had in my childhood. But on the mountain, when I'm fighting those fears and I'm in a very dangerous situations and I have to actually talk myself, what keeps me going is my passion towards reaching my goal. Because once I set my goal, I know I'm gonna reach it. It means I'm gonna reach it, and there is no way back. I've turned back on one mountain because I had to. And this is where you don't take risk and you assess how you need to move forward or you need to step back. But what really, really keeps me going with fears and mountaineering is really the passion. But when it comes to having conversation within myself and the conflict within myself, it's the it's the toughest thing you can do. And this is something you don't also only go through it on the mountain. You can literally go out for a half an hour walk with no phone, just you and yourself, and you just walk and realize what kind of thoughts are coming to you. And these thoughts sometimes are your enemy. And this is where you have to talk to yourself back and forth to see where do you want to reach in life? And what is it that you want? And where are these thoughts coming from? Because once you understand these thoughts, you understand the feelings behind the thoughts. And if you dig a little bit deeper, you go into your own values and beliefs. And this is where your world starts shaking, because sometimes our values and beliefs are changing. And it's so difficult because they're so rigid sometimes. And when they're changing, we are scared and we don't know what to do. So we panic. And instead of panicking, we need to give ourselves self-affirmations. We need to talk to ourselves, and we need to spend some time with ourselves until we realize what is it that we're trying to achieve and who is it that we want to be and what kind of value and belief system we are trying to build as we move forward. At the end of the day, we are transformational human beings and we go through phases. Life is literally phases and nothing is permanent. Not a thought, not a feeling, not even a situation.
Greatly said. And this is definitely inspiring. And I've seen you've applied that into your entrepreneur side, I would say, when you were seeing a couple of failures in a row in your first mask making endeavor. Okay, so that was, and I'm an entrepreneur as well, so I know that sometimes you get hit once, twice, 3 times, and that might be difficult.
Yeah, I'm still getting hit.
Yeah, but what impressed me is that you've used, I would call that a difficult context. In fact, twofold. Yeah, there was the pandemic and also the blast in Lebanon, and you used that as the trigger to start with just, I would call that simple stitching, something that would help and empower women. So how did you get this this light that went in that it could be possible, while in fact all the ingredients were kind of in the opposite direction? Everything was going, so it was a tough year, I would say. Just not only for Lebanon, but for the world and globally. So what was the trigger? That's that idea that came in, and then that allowed you to stay and be consistent, as you said. And even if the first trial were kind of, whoops, an error, what, it's not working, what, it's not good. So a long question, but this a simple idea. How did you, how were you able to start and keep on it after that, on the entrepreneur side? So not the climbing, but the entrepreneurship side.
So starting required me to literally be on ground. When you are on the field and you see firsthand footage of what is really happening with the children and women, you realize that the financial situation is the most important thing. It's not education at this point. It's not food, maybe even. It's literally how to survive. And poverty was really big where I was working and intervening. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, financial empowerment, woman, if you want to empower a woman, you really need to give her a financial mean for her to start something. And I wanted to support those women, and I wanted to speak about feminism, and I wanted to do something. And I'm just like, I am on ground, let me utilize them. And I didn't see them having projects. And when I had this thought about, I want people to talk about women's rights, is literally because on a daily basis, I go through sexism comments, which I don't like. And when I reply to it, people think I'm being aggressive or I'm overreacting or I'm angry. And I do not reply even in an angry way, but I just say things that make sense sometimes, but it doesn't make sense to them. And it was frustrating. And every time I did the research about what feminism is, there comes so many topics. And I realized there's 4 waves of feminism. There's so many types of feminists out there, and people needed to understand the meaning. So it just all fell into the right place. And sometimes when things happen at the right moment, in the right time, at the right place, this is exactly what happened with feminists, like being on ground, seeing those women and having this idea towards bringing people to start advocating just came right. So all I had to do is put things together. What kept me going was not definitely myself only. Of course, I had like a mindset where I want to achieve and do it, but my imposter was way stronger because it's fashion design and it scares me, just like being in the fashion design world, because I have no idea how it works. I have a very, very strong supportive partner who really believed in me. He would wear my mask and walk around and say, look, I am wearing your mask. And he went above and beyond to make me believe in my own project. And this is why one of the reasons I would change my mind in an hour, from going to, I don't want to do this anymore, to, okay, let me go and do it. It's those conversations. And I had a very supportive mother, and there was a supportive family in Lebanon, and they all believed in my idea. So having the right support system and surrounding yourself by the right people, which is very hard to find, is very important, and it keeps you going.
Definitely good point. So a good support. Sometimes it's coming from family, sometimes it's not. You need to have to find it. But that's a great effectively contribution to help people, and great comment and insightful comment. Ayse, I don't know if you have questions or if you want to look at some takeaways from today. What do you just let you go ahead with that?
Maybe one question, just very quick question. Our previous TEDx talk was about following your childhood dreams will bring you the true success and happiness. And I think Tima also mentioned that. And that's a great example as well, to follow childhood dreams. But my question is, Tima, what would you suggest? There are to women who are giving up, because many women are giving up on their entrepreneurial journey due to many challenges, and as you also mentioned, they don't follow their childhood dreams. So what would you suggest, or what would you say them?
I would say consistency and determination despite demotivation. I give up in a week at least 3 times, and then I wake up and I continue doing what I'm doing. It's not easy. It's so hard, and you're alone. So I work from home. I'm working on my own. I still don't have a team. And I'm doing all sorts of departments on my own. I do the communication, I do the marketing, and it's so difficult. And I'm running two things. I'm running the Mountain Gypsy Dream, and I'm still running the Feminist. But right now I'm trying to make my mom help me. So she's the one who's selling my products in Lebanon. And every day I just want to give up because it's so hard. There's something wrong with the product. There's something wrong with the supplier. There's something wrong. There's always something wrong. So being an entrepreneur is not a nice life. And if you really want to do it, you have to be so passionate about it, and you need to believe in your dreams. So one, be consistent and determined every morning. Every morning, wake up and say, I will do what I have to do today. I don't care about the result. I will just do what I need to do for today. Sometimes it might not make sense, and sometimes it will make sense. And if it doesn't make sense now, it will make sense for sure in a year or two at least. The second thing is be passionate and be hungry towards what you want. If you really want to get the message out there, and if you really have the right cause, then you will fight for it no matter what. And two, when you're demotivated, build your process and follow it. In my case, what I do, sometimes I'm extremely demotivated and I no longer can function because my brain, I'm overrun and I'm overburnt. I use the 3 days rules, which is I give myself 3 days and I do other things. I go climb a mountain, I do something I love, and then I come back. I feel like I have refueled myself and I'm ready to go again and try again. So keep on trying. You're gonna get slapped, you're gonna fall down, you're gonna get up and continue trying. It will work out eventually. And sometimes it might work out after a very long time, but it will work out if you really want it to work.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Stefan, would you like to share the slides for takeaways?
Yes, I can do that right away.
Thank you. So, I think in addition to those takeaways, I just took several notes from Sugi. It was great. She said leaders shouldn't create followers.
I give myself 3 days and I do other things. I go climb a mountain, I do something I love, and then I come back. I feel like I have refueled myself and I'm ready to go again and try.
Sorry for that.
Oh, okay, it's okay. So I was saying, Suji mentioned leaders create followers, and it's a big no. And leaders create leaders. So I will say that focus on creating leaders, and I think that goes to the 5-stage powers, as Shirzad has mentioned on his talk. And Tima mentioned identify your fears and versus identify others' fears. And this is also in alignment with Shirzad was saying every fear operates from the judge, and actually every fear is judge's voice. So focus on your sage positive mind. And the other takeaways, just in my eyes, is everybody has a choice to be the hero of your story. And as Tima and Suji mentioned, we always have a choice, even it seems that there is no choice. So do not fight with your inner critics. That is the common mistake. Please don't fight, and manage them through mental fitness or affirmations or positive talks, and change your inner critics' negative mindset to inner self-empowering talks so that you can change your story. And I didn't know that Tima would mention that as well. Talking himself, by the way. And next slide, please. And in terms of business for entrepreneurs, I may suggest create a business company led by your passion, as Tima and Suji also mentioned, and your business should be with the culture that women have bespoke opportunities to become resilient and confident leaders. If you are a solo entrepreneur, then inspire other women professionals to become resilient and confident leaders, because we need many. And a culture, create a culture in your business that has a value of curiosity about what the dreams of women and then create a safe environment where women can share, talk about their fears, their inner talks, and then create collective solutions. I think these are my takeaways. Very welcome if you would like to add any other.
Definitely, I can just add a few things. And Tima, you've mentioned that you had some kind of difficult relationship at the beginning with your own father, which was not letting you the room, or didn't want to let you the room to thrive. So I think if we put it but a larger basis, I think men need to realize that we just need to let room for women to thrive and women to be women. Let them fulfill their dream. That's it. So we should not. And you've put some numbers from the World Bank. They're terrible, but you're right. It's a huge percentage of women which are facing, which are restricted in their capacity. So we need to change that as a society. It's good for women, but it's also absolutely important for the whole world. We're all in the same big boat, big spherical boat that is floating in this vast cosmos. So we're together. Second thing that was mentioned as well is, and you both have been facing really tough time in your country. So tsunami in Sri Lanka, which was so devastating for communities, but for the whole country. And Lebanon, we just mentioned what happened just a few years ago, and also the political situation in general. And both countries, it's the same difficulties. But even with that, you've been able to achieve your dream in different ways, different approach. But difficulties and failure, by the way, even our personal failure, and I like how you said that, Tima, earlier. It's all about learning. So yes, we should not see failures as just failing something. It's an opportunity to learn and improve. So it might be taking 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, but it's always, if you take it that way, you're a better self the day after. So you're just improved. So I like this. And you both showed that because you needed a lot of resilience, and being resilient is one of the ingredient is being able to learn from what failed or what was difficult, what I failed, what's coming from others. So I really like that you're both great examples of determination, resilience, and learning from difficult times, and even being able to re-put that on the table and restart if it's not going the way you wanted the first time. So I just wanted to add these things, and it's so important as I said, for the whole world. We need to understand that if we want to get out of all the challenges we're facing, the climate crisis, wars, even in Europe, where nobody would have thought there would be wars. So there are wars anywhere, all around the world, absolutely. But the political struggle in so many countries, even in the US right now, that's not an easy thing. You're there, Suji. So this is, so it needs people, and we need to just all give the space for leaders, for people to be their self and take the proper way forward, the best way forward to improve the society, to make that a sustainable world. We need to improve ourselves so we're able to share it with the rest of the world. And that's my concluding remark. You did that, and I told you I would ask another question, Tima, at the beginning, the same as Suji. What inspired you? And I want you to say the last thing, to advocate for helping children, helping women, empowering women in your country and beyond now. So what was that? And Suji, after that, I will have another thing. If you had 30-second a message that you would like to relay for the attendees, I'll let you, while Tima is responding to the question I told her I would ask. So you have if you want, give a 30-second message, that will be a time to do that. But Tima, what was inspiring you giving? You've given many examples in your presentation, but if you need to put that in a few, in a minute or so, what would be what inspired you to help others?
When I started my mountaineering journey, I was looking for mentors and I was looking for help, and nobody helped me. I had to do things on my own. And when I started climbing, I learned so much, and I made a promise to myself that I will always give back what the mountains have gave me, because the mountains have gave me mental fortitude. They've helped me build a very strong mindset, and I've learned so much, and I've elevated as a person on an internal level and became much better. And I promised myself, whatever I learned on the mountain, I will come back, bring it back, put it in the workshop and deliver it, or through coaching. So giving back to me is something very important, because I did not feel that I have received when I was looking for help. That's one. And two, my passion towards empowering women and seeing women in the lead goes way beyond me. It's very fiery, and it's something that I really want to see in the world, because I really believe everybody deserves to have equal rights, equal opportunities, and equal respect in society. So I really aspire to see equality, and I have received my equality in my world, and I really wish more women would feel that and touch that, because it's very powerful. And when you give women power, she will give you a better community.
It's part of your values, your inner values. So that's the big driving force, definitely. Tima, thank you for that comment. Great and insightful. Suji, that's your turn. If you want to add a few, just kind of synthesis of what you would like to add to this.
Yeah, thank you. Only thing I can say, identify resilient individual within you. We all have that individual inside you. Make sure to identify that peace within you and follow your passion. That's the only thing I can say. Like, do not give up, just breathe and think, who am I, what I want to do, and what is my coping mechanisms if I fail. And when you put all this picture together, you're going to create your beautiful holistic you, and that will lead you to success. Thank you.
Greatly said. As you said earlier as well, it's within you, so you need to. It will be greatly expressed. After these takeaways from all, just wanted to add that we also are inviting all the participants and all the attendees, the people which are listening, if you're willing to share your own stories, and even if you want to become one of our next guest speaker, don't hesitate to fill the form. The link will be on the web soon on the YouTube channel. Just want you to know that. And just completing this great event today with absolutely awesome presentation from our speakers. Just want to thank you all for participating. Sorry for the small glitch on in the channel, but anyway, we have everything, so you can turn back to it and listen to it. This is that was awesome. I don't know, Ayse, if you want to add to it, but we invite you to look at our channel for the other TEDx event as well, and on LinkedIn for the Women Forum Leadership, the Women Leadership Forum and Sustainability, Inclusiveness, Diversity as discussed there. So don't hesitate to join the group as well. So I see you might want to add to these last few words and invite the people for our next event if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan, and thank you, Tima, Suji. That was great talk. So thank you for being us an inspiring woman. And yes, if you please connect with us through our LinkedIn forum that is called WELL, like WENL. So I think that is the only woman entrepreneur and leader forum for inclusive sustainability. So we are growing, and our passion is to inspire and empower women through collective decisions and collaboration. So please join us. And if you can't find any links, we are very visible on LinkedIn, so you can connect either with me or Stefan. So we will be pleased to be connected and guide you all through these things.
So thank you all, and you'll see the links anyway on the YouTube channel on top of that. So thanks, and see you for the next event on September 22nd. It's during the General Assembly, the UN General Assembly week. So we're having an event in the wake of this, and this